we are going to do just a nice, slow Hatha practice. Nothing too intense. We're just going to slowly move through some postures. All you'll need is mat. We won't need any blocks or anything like that. So you could even take this outside if you want to. Okay, so we will start by coming into a child's pose. So option here, keeping your toes together, we can go wide leg child's pose, walking the hands down towards the mat. Or if you feel more comfortable, keep the legs closed. It's just whatever feels better for you. We want to keep the child's pose active, so we're going to keep the elbows off the mat. We want to keep the arms engaged. We really want to be lengthening and stretching into that child's pose. And we're just going to start here by connecting with the breath. Starting to inhale through the nose and out through the nose. With every inhale, just feeling the ribcage expand. Just noticing on the exhale how your body sinks towards the mat. On the next inhale, I want you to direct it towards the back. Just noticing the vertebrae separating, expanding the back. On the next inhale, taking the focus to the side of the body. Feeling the long inhale, expanding the ribcage. Trying to keep the length of the breath throughout the practice. As this is a gentle practice, it should be easy to maintain the regularity of the breath. On the next inhale, we're going to walk the arms further away from us. And we're going to exhale, walk the hands over towards the right. Closing the eyes here. Directing the breath to the left-hand side. Feeling that left side expanding on the inhale. And on the exhale, getting rid of any stagnant air. Really emptying the lungs. Might be that you've been there a few breaths, so you can walk your hands a little bit further round. Just going to where feels comfortable for you today. Having one more inhale here. And exhale, walking the hands back to center. You're going to inhale, lengthen the hands. And exhale, walk the hands over towards the left. Again, keeping the eyes closed. Directing the breath this time towards that right hand side. Allowing that ribcage to expand on the inhale. Maybe walking the hands a little bit further round and allowing the body to just sink towards the mat. We're going to inhale, walk the hands back to center. Exhale here. Inhale, walking the hands, coming up to seated. Bringing the knees together. Going to draw the shoulder blades back and down. If this is uncomfortable, you can put a blanket or something underneath your feet to protect your ankles or underneath your knees. Drawing the shoulder blades back and down. We're going to extend both arms. We're going to take the right hand underneath the left, bringing the palms together. From here, we want to raise the elbows so the elbows are the same height as the shoulders, having a nice stretch along the back. Closing the eyes here or gazing forward, finding your gaze. Just being conscious not to drop the elbows, we want to keep them as high as the shoulders. Feeling that nice stretch along the shoulders. From here, we're going to inhale, slight back bend. Exhale, stay there. One more inhale here. Exhale, come back down. Releasing the arms. Give the arms a bit of a swing. Just releasing any tension. Extending the arms again, taking that left hand underneath the right. Bringing the palms together. Same as before, we're going to raise the elbows. You might notice that one side feels tighter or more difficult than the other. Breathing here. One more inhale here. We're going to inhale, slight back bend. Careful not to drop the neck too far. Not crunching the neck, controlled back bend. Another inhale here. Exhale, come back down center. Releasing the arms again, just giving a little swing from side to side. We're going to come up onto our knees. We're going to step, I'll do it this way so you can see. We're going to step the right foot out towards the side. We want to make sure that our left shoulder, left hip and knee are stacked. If we can, we want to try and ground through the outer edges of that right foot. We want to make sure we're tucking the pelvis, drawing the shoulder blades back and down. Option here, we can either just have our hands on our hips if that's a good enough intense stretch on that groin and inside of that leg. Or we can inhale, lengthen the arms. From here, we can either stay here or we can place that right hand onto the thigh, slowly sliding that hand down the leg as we find our side bend. So we don't want to be leaning forward just to try and get closer to the foot. We want to stay in one plane as if we're stuck between two bits of glass. Leaning over, really lengthening, stretching all up the left side. We can take the gaze up towards the left, opening the chest if we can. Really grounding through the outer edge of that right foot. Just concentrating on your breath here. One more inhale here. We're going to inhale, come back through center, raising the arms. And if we can, trying to bring that knee down without using the hands, extending that left leg out. So same as before, we want to make sure that our knee hip, shoulder are stacked. We're pushing through the outer edge of that left foot. We're drawing our shoulder blades back and down. We're tucking the pelvis. I know that's a lot. A lot of instructions. We're drawing the shoulder blades back and down. We're raising the arms. From here, we're going to place the left hand onto the thigh, slowly bending over for a nice side stretch. Gazing forward, or we can take the gaze up towards the right, opening that chest a little bit more if we can. If this is uncomfortable under your knee, you can put a blanket or a pillow underneath the knee or roll your mat up. One more inhale here. Exhale, come back through center. Bring the knees together. And we're going to come into a tabletop position. So hands roughly shoulder width distance apart, knees and feet hip width distance apart, coming for a nice neutral spine. We're going to inhale, raise the right arm, twisting towards the right, really opening the chest. Breathing here. Really grounding through those left fingers. One more inhale here. And we're going to exhale. Thread that right hand underneath. Bringing that right ear down towards the mat. Closing the eyes here. If we want, we can extend that left hand out in front of us to deepen into that shoulder stretch. Breathing here. Another modification, if you want to deepen into it, is we can extend the left foot back. We want to make sure that our hips are still square to the mat. Just focusing on the breath here. One more breath here. Bringing that knee back down if it was raised, walking that hand back in front of the face. We're going to inhale, come back up to tabletop. Checking our alignment again. This time, inhale, opening the hand up towards the left, opening the chest. Really using our fingers in the mat, not pushing through the wrist. One more inhale here. And exhale, taking that left hand underneath the right arm. Left ear comes down towards the mat. Same as before, we can extend that right hand out in front of us to add a bit more pressure to that shoulder. And we can extend the right foot back too. We want to make sure we're not dipping the hip. We want to keep square with our hips to the mat. Closing our eyes here if we can, just focusing on the breath. Maybe one side feels tighter than the other. Just allowing yourself on the exhale to release any tension in the shoulder. From here, we're going to walk that foot back towards our tabletop position. We're going to bring that hand back in front of our face. We're going to inhale, come up to the tabletop. From here, checking our alignment. We do a few rounds of cat-cow just to start warming up the spine. So we're going to inhale, lower the belly, tilt the pelvis, bring the gaze up towards the ceiling. Exhale, tuck the pelvis, follow that curvature of the spine, gaze comes to the navel. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, really opening that chest, drawing the shoulder blades back and down. Exhale. Really pushing that spine towards the ceiling. A few more rounds. Inhale, coming back to neutral. From here, we want to make sure we're grounding through our hands, evenly distributing the weight. We're going to start to shift the weight slightly into our left knee, but we want to be careful we don't drop the hip. We're going to raise that right foot. We want to tilt the toes so that they're pointing towards the floor, helping us with the angle of our hips. We don't want to be twisting the hip open. We want to keep the hips square to the mat, engaging the core. Just building a bit of core strength. Option here to raise the head, draw the chest forward, and we can try and raise that foot a little bit higher now. Challenging ourselves today. If you want to keep your head down but raising the leg a little bit more, that's fine. Just find where is good for you today. Couple more breaths. On the next exhale, bring that knee back down to the mat. Again, make sure our hands are distributing the weight. We're going to inhale, raise the left foot. Again, flexing that foot, toes pointing towards the mat. Making sure that our hip isn't dropping. Keeping square to the mat. Breathing here. Trying to find that rhythmic breath. Maybe closing the eyes, noticing how the body moves. Option to stay here, or we can try and raise that leg a little bit more. Raising the gaze, drawing that chest forward. One more inhale here. Exhale, bring the foot back down. We're going to tuck the toes, push back to a downward dog. Really pushing through the fingers, drawing the shoulder blades back, walking the legs out for a downward dog. Calming to a neutral downward dog. We're going to walk the feet towards the hands, coming into a forward fold. From here, we're going to bend the right knee, keeping that left leg straight. So we're almost like popping the hip. So you'll feel a nice stretch down that left side. We want to keep most pressure on that right hand, so that left hand is quite loose, but it's just there helping with stability. Or if you do want to challenge yourself, you can try and do a little bit of a bind, so we can take that right hand through the legs, so through the underneath that bent leg, bring that left hand up and over to grab the bind. So here we can use that bind to twist the chest, taking the gaze up towards the ceiling. Really pushing that left hip back towards the back of the mat. Just breathing here. concentrating on the breath. Allowing our body to go through a range of movement. And just allowing us to get rid of any tension that we're carrying. One more inhale here. Releasing the hands, maybe walking off the legs. Making any movement that you need. Feels like a weird kind of 80s workout video. Bending the left knee. Now pushing that right hip back towards the back of the room. Feeling that stretch now down that right side. Keeping the pressure on that left hand. We can stay here if that's too intense. Also, if you are struggling to get your hands to the floor, we can obviously have a book or a block. You could be holding a chair. There's lots of ways that we can do this. From here, if we want to intensify it, we're going to take the left hand through the leg. Bring that right hand up and over. Deepening into that twist. Gazing up over that right shoulder. Just concentrating on the breath. If you can't quite get the bind, then you could either use a strap or a sock, or to be honest, just grip the booty. Just hold yourself so that you're drawing that chest up and open. One more inhale here. On the next inhale, releasing the bind, walking the legs out again. Coming back to neutral. We're going to inhale, rolling the body up. Bring the arms above the head. Exhale, keeping the hands above the head. We're going to take the right hand around the left wrist. We're going to step the left foot behind the right foot and lean over towards the right. So it's your choice. You can take your left foot as far away as you want. Obviously that deepens the stretch more. So if this is new to you and the side stretch feels quite intense, then keep that foot closer. It's up to you. This is your practice. Breathing here. You can gaze up towards the left. One more breath here. We're going to inhale, come back up through center, feet back. Take the left hand around the right wrist, stepping that right foot back, leaning over for a side stretch. So again, varying where you want that foot. Ideally, we want to keep both legs straight. We don't want to be collapsing into it. We just want to be opening the chest, leaning over towards the side. One more inhale here. And inhale, come back up. Hands to center. Exhale. We're going to run through a few sun salutations, just slowly working the body. We're going to bring the hands down towards the side, feet roughly hip width distance apart, tucking the pelvis to protect our lower back. Draw those shoulder blades back and down. We're going to inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, folding forward, keeping length in that spine. Inhale, half lift, hands to the shins or the mat. Exhale, step the right foot back, keeping that left leg bent. We're going to inhale, raise the arms, coming into a crescent lunge, strong in the legs. We're going to exhale, come back to a forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold again. Inhale, slowly come up. Hands above the head. Exhale, Samastiti. Again, inhale, raise. Really connecting on the exhale. Forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, place the hands, left foot steps back. Inhale, engage the core, raise the arms, crescent lunge. Exhale, hands come to the mat, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold again. We're going to inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, Savasthiti. Inhale, raise, connecting with the breath. Exhale, forward fold, nice, controlled movement. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, place the hands, step the right foot back. Inhale, raise. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, Savasthiti. Inhale, raise. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, place the hands, left foot steps back this time. Inhale, raise the arms. Exhale, hands come back down, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, raise. Exhale, Savasthiti. It's quite rhythmic and therapeutic. Inhale, raise, last set. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, place the hands, right foot steps back. Inhale, raise the arms, crescent lunge. Exhale, hands come down to the mat, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold again. Inhale, raise all the way up. Exhale, Savasthiti. Last side. Inhale, raise. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, place the hands, left foot goes back. Inhale, raise the arms, crescent lunge. Exhale, place the hands, forward fold. Inhale, half lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold again. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, Savasthiti. From here, we're going to tuck the pelvis, lower into a seated position, coming into Utkatasana, chair pose. So we want to make sure that we're not sticking out the bum. We're tucking the pelvis to protect our lower back. We're drawing through the midline, raising our arms. Concentrating on the breath. From here, we're going to bring the hands to prayer. We're going to inhale, lengthen the spine, keeping the legs where they are. We're going to exhale, twist to the right, taking the left elbow to the outer edge of that right knee. Being careful that we're not buckling the knees. We want to make sure the knees are parallel with one another. Taking the gaze up towards the right. Staying here for a few breaths. We're going to inhale, come back through center. Exhale here. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twisting to the left, taking that right elbow to the left knee. Again, just keeping an eye on the knees, that one knee isn't popping forward. Taking that gaze over the left shoulder, really drawing through the midline here. One more inhale. We're going to place the hands on the mat, stepping back to a high plank. We're going to inhale here. Exhale, lower the knees, chest, chin. We're going to inhale, slide through, come to a cobra, keeping a bend in the elbows. And we're going to exhale, tuck the toes, push back to a downward dog. Connecting back to the breath if we've lost it. On our next inhale, we're going to step the right foot forward, lowering the left heel, From here, we're going to inhale, lengthening that front leg, so both legs are straight. So we want to have the right foot tracking forward, the left foot tracking towards the long edge of the mat. We're going to inhale, open our hands to T. Exhale, bring that right hand down towards that right ankle. So here we can either have a hand on a block, we can have it on our shin, our ankle, or on the mat if we can reach it. From here, wherever we are, we want to make sure we're twisting the chest and taking the gaze up towards that left hand. Now you might find that actually reducing where the hand is allows you to have more of a twist. So just playing with that as and when, finding what feels right and comfortable for you. Breathing here, feeling a nice hamstring stretch. Making sure we're pushing the weight on the feet on the outer edges. Just concentrating on your breath. One more breath, inhale. On the next inhale, we're going to bring the hands to frame the front foot. We might want to step that back foot in, so it's a shorter stance. Both feet, you can either keep your foot at an angle or you can realign your foot so that they're both tracking forward. But we're going to inhale, draw the chest forward, and then as if we're trying to lay the chest on the shin, come into a forward fold. Again, if this is not accessible to you, you can have a block either side, or you can kind of hold on to something, a radiator, a wall, or you could have a chair in front of you just to help maintain nice length in the spine. Here, we want to make sure we're not popping the hip. We want to be drawing that left hip forward and pushing that right hip back. Careful that we're not gripping with our toes as well. If it does feel too intense, maybe shortening your stance. One more inhale here. Placing the hands on the mat, you can bend the knee slightly. We're going to step that left foot back, that right foot back, calming back into our downward dog. Walking the legs off. Calming back to neutral. We're going to inhale, step that left foot forward, lower that right heel, calming up to standing. Again, we want the left foot tracking forward, right foot towards the long edge. We're going to tuck the pelvis, extend the arms to T. We're going to inhale here. Exhale, bring that left hand down towards the foot. As before, we can hold the ankle or the shin, or we can hover. We're going to twist that chest open towards the right, taking that gaze up towards that right hand. All of these poses, we should just be concentrating on the breath. About feeling where we can feel that stretch. And doing what's right for your body. One more inhale here. Again, bringing the hands to frame that left foot, stepping that back foot in. Again, you can keep that foot at a slight angle, or you can have both feet tracking forward. It's just completely what's right for your hips and your pelvis. We want to inhale, draw that chest forward. Exhale, forward fold. So try not to draw the forehead towards the shin because that creates rounding. We want to be lengthening the spine, and by doing that you'll feel more of an intense stretch. Just focusing on the breath here, making any adjustments that you need for your body. Making sure that we're pushing that left hip back, drawing that right hip forward, intensifying that stretch slightly. Relaxing the neck. One more inhale here. Placing both hands on the mat, we're going to bend that front knee, stepping back to our downward dog. Walking off the legs again. Just making any adjustments that you need, maybe pushing the hips back. Adding a bit more motion to when we're walking off that dog. Coming back to neutral spine. We're going to walk the hands towards the feet, making sure that our feet are hip width distance apart. We're going to take the peace fingers, the two fingers, round the thumb, table. We're going to draw the chest forward. And then exhale, pulling the elbows to the side, drawing the body and the forehead towards the gap between the legs. Again, we don't want to be leading with the forehead, we want to lead with the chest. Lengthening the spine. That's intense. You can micro bend the knees. Just finding what's right for you. Option here, we can also then take the hands underneath the feet. If you are doing this, you can draw that chest forward again. Exhale, draw that chest back between the gap. This will intensify the stretch along the back of the leg, so you can again micro bend the legs. Just finding what's right for you today. One more inhale here. And inhale, release the hands, half lift. Exhale, bring the hands to the hips. Inhale, slowly come all the way up to standing. Exhale, hands come to heart center. From here, we're going to step the right foot forward so that both feet are tracking towards the long edge of the mat. We don't want the stance to be too wide, just where we feel comfortable. Tucking the pelvis. We're going to bring the hands behind the back so that we're interlacing the fingers. From here, we're going to inhale, slight back bend, drawing those hands back and down, opening that chest. Having a few breaths here. Again, not collapsing and pushing that pelvis forward, just taking it to where feels comfortable. One more inhale here. And exhale, we're going to slowly fold forward, bringing those hands up and over. If you're aware of any hypermobility, just watching the shoulders here. We want to make sure that we're grounding through the outer edges of the feet. Making sure that we're trying to put the weight into the front of our feet. Relaxing the neck. Using the arms to open the chest. Just concentrating on the breath. What we can do is we can kind of inhale, half lift. Exhale, try and sink lower down. Make it a bit more rhythmic. Inhale up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale. Exhale, just making sure that we're grounding through the outer edges of the feet. Want to be rolling in. One more inhale here. We're going to inhale, release the hands. Half lift. Exhale, staying here. So we have an option here. We can either keep the hands on the mat and draw the chest down, or we can deepen into it and take the fingers around the big toes. Draw the chest forward. Exhale, draw the chest between the gap. So actually the challenge here isn't bringing the head down towards the mat. If we shorten this stance, we're trying to actually get the body so that we can almost do a forward fold. So we want to be lengthening the spine, drawing that chest between the legs, using the elbows to draw the chest forward. Again, micro bending the knees if that does get too intense. Just protecting your knees and your hamstrings. Nothing should be hurting. One more inhale here. We're going to inhale, half lift. Exhale, bring the hands to the hips. We're going to inhale, slowly come all the way up. From here, we're going to step the feet back so that we're at the back of the mat. From here, we're going to inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, we're going to roll down, bringing the hands down towards the mat. We're going to inhale here. Exhale. We're going to inhale, walk the hands, coming into our downward dog. Noticing now, like if your downward dog feels less tighter than it did when we first started the practice, tilting the pelvis towards the ceiling, drawing the shoulder blades back and down. And one more inhale here. Looking between the hands, we're going to either step or float into a seated position, or just stepping into a cross-legged position. From here, we're going to extend the legs, coming into a Dandasana. So we want the feet together, feet flexed. We're going to draw the shoulder blades back and down. Hands come to our sides. Now, if you struggle to get your hands on the mat, you can have a book next to you just to add a little bit of elevation so that you can really draw that chest up and forward. We're all built in different proportions. Making sure that we're flexing those feet, bringing the chin slightly towards the chest. Just focusing on the breath. From here, releasing the hands, we can take the right leg over the left, bending the right knee. So we either can come at a left angle. There's going to be loads of variants of this one. So we can have our knee at a left angle, at a right angle even, or we can draw that right heel towards the left hip. Gosh, I'll get there in the end. So if that feels comfortable for you, then this is one variation of the fold that we can do. So we can either draw the chest forward, lean forward here, or if you feel like you could deepen into the practice, we can then take our left heel round towards our right hip. We want to make sure that the knees are stacked. We're bringing the heels towards our hips. If that is difficult, but you want to try this pose, you can have both legs at a right angle. So there's loads of variations for you. So coming into your version of this forward fold, we're going to draw the shoulder blades back and down. We're going to inhale, lengthen the arms. Exhale, folding forward. Now for me, this is where I need to go. I wouldn't want to go any deeper. Just making sure we're leading with our chest, we're not rounding the back. So if you're just staying sat upright, that's absolutely fine. Just focusing on the breath here, maybe closing the eyes. We carry a lot of tension around our glutes, around our hip flexors. A lot of emotion. So just try on every exhale, just to release a little bit more tension if you can. Just softening into the pose. Few more breaths here. Walking the hands back up or coming up to seated. So whichever variation you're in, if you've got the variation where your leg is extended, and the leg here, we're going to bring both legs out. Give them a bit of a shake. Okay. Put that left leg up and over, bringing that left heel towards the foot. And Bob's your uncle, there you are. If, however, you are still in this variation, we're going to shift the weight forward and stand up, keeping our legs straight. We're going to twist to the left, unraveling all the way round so that we're then back twisted. We then bend the knees, coming back into the pose, but on the other side. It's a glorious move. From here, just making sure you feel comfortable. We're going to inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, folding forward. Just making sure that you make any adjustments that you need. You will notice that one side will be tighter than the other. Just closing your eyes. Just focusing on the breath. On the next inhale, coming up to seated. Extending the legs. Give them a bit of a wiggle. Keeping them extended, we're going to draw that right knee in towards the chest, flexing that left foot. From here, we're going to inhale, lengthen the left hand. Exhale, twisting towards the right, placing the right hand behind us, and then hugging our right leg with our left arm. We want to inhale, lengthen the chest. Exhale, twisting over that right shoulder. We're going to make sure we're either on our fingertips or flat on our hand. Try and avoid that if you can, where your palm is up but your fingers are flat. We're going to be pushing through the fingers or flat or on a block. With every inhale, trying to lengthen the spine and twisting a little bit further. Keeping that left foot flexed. We're going to inhale, come back through center. Extend that right leg. Bring that left knee in towards the chest. We're going to inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twisting towards the left. Opening that chest. Gazing over that left shoulder. Keeping that right foot flexed. Just focusing on the breath. From here, releasing that foot and slowly lowering yourself down on towards the mat, lying on our backs. We're going to bring the feet up towards the chest, placing the feet as if you're trying to walk on the ceiling. We're going to bring the hands on the inside of the knees, grabbing the big toe or the outer edge of the feet. Please stay here, or we can gently rock from side to side. I'm going to be drawing those knees towards the shoulders. Bringing the knees into the chest and gently rocking from side to side. And then releasing the feet into either corner of the mat. Placing the hands down by the side with the palms facing the ceiling. Relaxing your shoulders, making any adjustments that you need. Coming back to our natural breath. Just being aware of your face. And making sure that you aren't carrying any tension in the brow or in the jaw. Maybe parting the teeth slightly. Just allowing yourself to sink into the mat. Not allowing any thoughts to come into the mind. Just focusing on how you're feeling in this present moment. Slowly bringing awareness back into the body. Wiggling the toes and the fingers. Bringing the feet together. The hands overhead. We're going to inhale, give the body a good stretch. Exhale, release. Keeping the eyes closed. We're going to make our way up to a cross-legged position. Bringing the hands to heart center. Thank you for practicing with me today. Namaste. And magically, I have a dog. This is Alfie.